So definitely stay tuned here. And as you can, just type in a comment as a question, include as much information as you can about your vehicle or whatever you're asking in particular, and then we'll try and get to all the questions and answer all the questions, okay? If I would also ask you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get the notifications and don't miss any videos or when we go live. Today's show, we have a special guest, Robert and Laura from Switch Pros. They drove all the way up here to be with us and talk to you all. So we're going to get to them in just a second. We've got a couple different things to cover. James, who we got watching so far?
J.C. Colden, Michael Atkinson, Martin something, Two Feather Channel, Mr. Rickstar, Jeremy Crumbly, Lucas Beast, Michael Costin, Matt McDonough. Yep.
Sounds good.
That sums it up.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. All right. Let's see. What's been happening around here? I think that's the next slide. It is. Okay. Since last Wednesday, we took new Terremoto out to the hammers. If you're following me on Facebook, I posted a whole bunch of pictures. Jamie is currently working on a video. When's that supposed to be done, James? Is that like this week?
Yeah, like Thursday, Friday.
Okay, so by the end of the week, he'll have a brand new video of footage that we shot while we were out there. It works awesome. I got a couple small tweaks to do on it, but for the most part, you know, we were out there running. It was 108 degrees, and that's where you really want to test a vehicle. If it'll run during that, you're good to go. So we're really excited about that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was remind everybody we just got more JL cages finished. So if you've got a JL, I want to encourage you to get a cage before you need it. The other thing I remember being on the Rubicon is if you don't have corner guards on your JL, you're going to want those too. You even touch that corner and it's wrecked, and then it's really hard to mount a corner guard. I just updated our closeout section. So if you're looking for deals, get over there and check that out. And I wanted to give you a sneak peek of a brand new door hinge for the CJ, YJ, and TJ. Very nice billet. We're going to be checking these out ourselves. We just got them done. And then we're going to get those on the website too. So just a quick sneak peek on those. Let's see what else we got here. Today's tech tip. I didn't really come up with a good tech tip, but I think this will sum up enough tech for everybody. So we'll get on to that. Featured product, of course, is Switch Pro, and today's show is about Switch Pro. And we're not going to cover events and stuff quite yet. There we go. We're going to leave their logo in the background, and we're going to have you guys give us the full rundown on the product. Let's assume they don't know anything and it's their first time, because chances are if they know something, it's not even correct. So let's just fix it.
Oh, Tony,
all right,
thank you so
you're
much
on.
for
Yeah,
having
go for
us.
it. Sure.
As Tony said, I'm Laura. This is Robert. We are the founders of the Switch Pros brand. And we brought with us today a demo of our two flagship products. They are all solid state power distribution switch panel systems. We make them in-house in California, so they are American made. They have a multitude of capabilities, and I'm going to kind of gloss over what the package looks like when you get it, and then Robert will talk about some specific components and why we use what we use and what the benefits are. So this unit here is called the SP9100. It is an 8-switch, 8-circuit, 125 amp capability power distribution system. It includes a touch panel, a power module, all of the cables necessary to actually, your output harness, your communications cable between our two primary components, as well as a fused battery cable. And if you notice the iPhones that are mounted here, this is actually showing that we have Bluetooth capability, so you can actually interface by both programming and operating your system with an app that you download for either iPhone or from the Apple Store, and Android from the Google Play Store. So 8 switches, 8 circuits, 125 amp capability. This is the Racer Force 12. It's 12 switches, 17 circuits, 150 amps of capability. And so I'm gonna, first I'll show very quickly, this is a touch panel.
Yeah, maybe show what the kit comes with.
Sure,
So,
yeah, we're gonna kind of do a quick, like a little unboxing here. This is the touch panel. This is absolutely the whole of it. It's 2 inches by 4 inches, and this is obviously the 8 switch. And this is the power module. You get a lot of people who will come to our trade show booth and say, you know, what's going on behind here? How much deeper is this power module? This is really it. So this is all that goes in your engine compartment. So we're not looking for a lot of real estate. That was one of the reasons this was designed, is because we knew that Jeep specifically have very little excess real estate under the hood. And then
yeah, battery cable.
this is a fused battery cable. All of our systems come with one. This system here comes with 125 amp inline fuse. And because we tell you that you can actually, the capacity or the capability is 125 amps, so we give you a fuse to match that. You want to be cautious of any product that'll tell you it can do, you know, more than 100 amps and it's not giving you a sufficient fuse. This is a communications cable. This cable is the only thing that comes in from under the hood into the cab of the vehicle, and it connects the touch panel and the power module. And all in, you've got 11 feet between where you mount the touch panel and where, that's how far out you can actually mount the power module.
Yeah, it's super rugged. I mean, it's...
Yeah, it's got good shielding on it. It's not flimsy. It's a pretty, you know, solid cable. And then this is the output harness. This has your ignition and your ground. And when I talk about ignition, I'll defer to Robert to talk about why that's important. But these are your output leads. So the only thing that's going through the cab, the firewall is this cable here. This is actually under the hood and it goes out to your accessories. So, Robert, tell us what components we use that make this what it is for what makes it different and better than the technology that has been out.
So everything is solid state. We use automotive MOSFETs. So you don't need relays or fuses. The wired outputs here go directly to your load, and then the load's grounded on the other side. You can set fuse limits inside the app, anywhere from 5 to 35 amps, depending on which circuits you're using. And the MOSFETs are basically bulletproof. You can short them out all day long, and all you're going to see is a light flash on the switch indicating there's a fault, and it just resets itself.
Let me talk about
and I was going to say the communication between the power module and the switch panel is RS485, so it's very similar to a CAN bus system.
I want to drop in a piece of information because I kind of glossed over it, but when Robert was talking about the loads, so the way that we configure our switch panels is on this 8 switch panel, you have 4 20 amp circuits and 4 35 amp circuits. So you can actually divide your accessories based on what kind of amp load they draw. On the Racer Force 12, you have 4 35 amp circuits, 1 30 amp circuit, 11 15 amp circuits, and 1 2 amp low side driver. And we get a lot of questions about, wait a minute, there's 17 circuits, there are only 12 physical switches. That is because this system is built with the capability of you creating up to 5 circuits that can be essentially like an on-on-off 3-position rocker. So if you have a light bar that has white lights and then a background lighting, you can actually use one switch for that same bar, and you can essentially toggle through the series. So you push it once, you might turn on the backlighting.
Yeah.
You push it a second time, and either you add the white lights or you swap and turn off one and turn the white lights on, and then the third touch is off. So that's why there can be 17 circuits with only 12 switches.
Also, outputs can be combined. Like you can program switch 1 to turn on 2 outputs. So I can turn on 2 of these 35 amp outputs and have theoretically one switch controls a 70 amp load, you know, so.
Let's talk about
Functions?
Let's talk about functions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, well, I'll start. So first there's basically on-off. Like you turn a light on, you turn it off. There's momentary, like if you had a horn or something.
On-off.
We have a strobe function. So you press the button, it can strobe.
That's not a true strobe.
And then, but the unique thing about that is the switch can still be used for on-off function. But if you double tap the switch, then you get the strobe function or the flash function.
So that means if you have a light that you want to have a typical behavior, but in certain instances you want it to have either a flash, a strobe, or a bursting strobe pattern, you can actually program that in without any additional equipment. All of that's built into our power module.
Dimming, we can dim outputs just by holding the switch down. It'll go 100%, 50%, 10%, and you let off wherever you want it to stay.
A commonplace, typical application for that would be a light bar, but it also works for heated seats. If you have heated seats and you want to be able to have the adjustability just like you would from a factory switch, you can attach it, you connect them to the Switch Pro system, but then you program it for dimming so that you can turn it on high, and then if it gets too warm, you can use the dimming setting, which will actually decrease the heat.
We got time delay off. So if you can turn on a switch, like let's say you had an exterior light, you're at camp, you want it to turn off after an hour. So you program that in, and the time starts after you turn the ignition off. So you turn the ignition off, pull the key out, the light will shut off after 1 hour. So
you can also use that for a fan. If you want a fan to stay on after you've got the ignition, you program it and tell it how long you want it to stay on. We have master switch capability, so you can actually select a switch, and when you turn that switch on, it then also activates other circuits, you know, a grouping. Tony was talking about using it for his lockers, and so there he actually has the switch. They all run through the Switch Pro system, and then he can turn the master on, and then it also activates the other two, makes them available for turn on. What else do you want to?
Backlighting, you can match it to your Jeep interior colors. Like this one's green right now. This one's kind of red. In the app, there's a color wheel. You basically can select any color.
So let's talk about the app for a minute. When we first created our system, we actually the app was not what it is today. So in April of 2023, we released a brand new app. It loads faster. It has more what we call quick screens. So I was explaining to Tony when we were chatting about it, you actually have one screen that will tell you all of your programming that's in place. So if for some reason you can't remember how something is programmed, or you want to change it, but you want to figure out how it's programmed initially, you have a screen that will actually tell you how everything is currently programmed to function.
Also, if you have two systems in your Jeep, you can actually just swipe and then open the app for the other system. I mean, it's already there. You just swipe back and forth to select which panel. And
you mentioned this got a major overhaul, this app, right?
It did.
Yeah.
Yes, we were. It was April of 2023, and it's more attractive, it's faster, it's all of those things. It has
Sounds like you're talking about a good woman, if you ask me.
Hey, I totally subscribe to that.
We also added the quick functions. So on the app screen, if you go to quick actions, you press the quick action, and okay, so strobe, flash, and dimming and all that you have to program. Like the switch, by default, it will not do it. But if you hit the quick actions on the app screen, you can have any switch. You can make it flash, strobe, or dim just by touching it.
Like that. So if it's something that you need quick action on, like you've got a buddy looking for you, you're up on a plateau and you've got a buddy looking for you, then instead of, you don't have to go in deep into the programming and set your bar to flash or to strobe, you can on the fly do that as kind of a one-time use, so that you can get that action out of the more instant gratification.
Okay.
Low voltage disconnect. So if you ever leave a light on or something, it'll shut off automatically. There's different voltage set points, and you can also do load shedding to where you can select outputs that will stay on, like important ones, like if it's a fan or whatever.
So yeah, what he's talking for the low voltage disconnect, you can select between 11, 11.5, and 12 volts. And what that says is when the system is seeing that at one of those thresholds, you can decide at what point you either want to load shed or you want the whole thing to shut off. We do that, and of course you can disable that if it's not applicable. If this is in a trailer that doesn't have have its own motor, you don't have to be able to start it in the morning. But what we don't want to do is have folks using their scene lights maybe at camping and either forget to turn them off or run them down, and next thing you know, in the morning it's time to wheel, banners up, and the car, your rig won't start because you've run it too low by powering everybody's all your camp lights for the
music.
evening. It's music, it's lights, it's things that you forget about. We've done it. Marine applications, it's your stereo, and all of a sudden now you can't turn it. Your boat won't turn over. So these are. This is the standard, assuming that people didn't know anything about the system. I want to introduce a couple of fun new things, because we know that in the Jeep community, mount solutions are something that's really important.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to have Robert show.
Should we go back in time first, or?
Yeah. We
Okay.
had one of these. We had a JK.
The JK mount goes up on the A-pillar on the left. And these switches will be vertical orientation. So we actually do have vertical legends that they're basically rotated.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the legends at all.
Yeah, so let's.
Oh, yeah.
Show them the little packet of sheets.
Let's throw it into reverse here for a second. So, so every system comes with what we call legends. So when you get your system, the switch panel is blank, because we don't know. Our rig is set up different than yours. So you decide what you're going to power through the Switch Pros system, and then from these 125 options, you actually then put them on. You label the system so that when you're driving, you know exactly which switches you're activating. You can also, this was something that was part of that new app in April of 23, you can go in and add the very same icon so that your
in the app.
We have looks
pictures.
familiar.
You've got a physical identifier in both places, and they, rather than just the words. In the old one, it was just the words. Now you've got your
pictures.
icons, right? These come in a variety of different options. The standard that comes with the kit would be horizontal, 125, because more often than not, that's the direction that the switch panel is installed. However, if you're putting it in an A-pillar and you want to put it up this direction, we do have these, the very same legends, but they're in vertical orientation, because these are not square. They look it from a distance, but they are not, and so they look hokey if you try to stick them on. Some portion of the switch is not covered. So we have them in vertical. We also have some single sheets of specific brands that we have teamed with. One would be Rigid Industries lighting, one would be Baja Designs lighting, and then we also have some comical legends that are maybe adult friendly, I guess. Maybe
I think
not
one has a
family
finger
friendly.
in it.
Yeah, there might be a bikini too. And then we also have one that would be other brands like AirB, Warn, Buggy Whips, PCI. I don't want to leave anybody out there, but my memory sometimes gets away from me. Rugged radios. So it's a partial sheet, but that way if you are brand loyal to a specific piece of equipment and you want to call that out on here, we have those available. Back to you.
Back to the mounting solutions.
Oh, mounting solutions, yeah.
Sorry, I
okay, so then we have the JL. So this mount, we put the panel, same thing, right by the grab handle on the A-pillar. It's basically it's close to the steering wheel, so it's easy just to reach over, push the button.
And very visible.
Yes,
Yeah.
very visible.
Yep. And what is that fancy cover thing on there?
Oh, okay. So these are our racer touches. So this is a cover that just snaps on, and the stock ones are all black, but we can do custom colors with a UV printer.
Makes
So-
it easier if you're driving with gloves on, or if the terrain is particularly bumpy. You know,
Yeah,
you're reaching
it's-
over. It's I used to call it the finger finder, but that was not an appropriate thing to trademark. So it's called the Racer Touch, and we have it in two forms: Racer Touch 8 and Racer Touch 12. Just depends on which system.
And then
Yeah.
this is basically the same principle, but this is 23 and newer.
And
Because they
newer.
changed the handle.
2024.
That's right.
2024 to 22.
Yeah, that one's
current.
18,
Sorry.
18 to 23, 24, and newer.
And those are brand new. Those will be brand new on the website.
Yeah.
We just finished some fitment tests, and I'm
And-
going to give the.
okay, go ahead.
No,
Oh.
you're doing.
Oh, and this is our
you're
power
doing right
module
now.
mount. So this goes right next to where the battery is. And depending which model, so in the 3.6 liter, it goes more up front towards the firewall. And then on the Hemi, it moves down a little bit because actually I think the battery and the fuse box, I think they're reversed or something. And then this one can also be mounted on the driver's side on the firewall. Like all these bolts, they're all here like that for a purpose.
But then you need a longer cable.
yeah,
for
and then we
power.
make a cable, a longer battery cable that runs across.
Okay.
That's
and,
its
the
own
cowl.
kit.
and that mount will work with for the 12 or the 8.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
It just has to
yep,
do with the positioning of
yep.
where you put it.
Okay.
But on the website, if you're ordering and it's a diesel, you order that specific so that we know that you need additional cables. So
Gotcha.
thank you for pointing
Yeah.
that out, because it's not a universal fit. We've made the
Yeah.
plate semi-universal by putting all of those pre-drilled, and you just line it up with whichever stud
Yeah,
you're going
that's
to mount
nice.
to.
Yeah, and certainly they can
So-
drill more holes or do whatever. You're just trying to make it as easy as you can.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we'd like it to be, that's one thing that we're really firm about is we sell you a kit that's all inclusive of the total inclusion of what you need to do to make this system work for you.
And one other thing I wanted to address is, so these are automotive MOSFETs. They send out a 12-volt signal. Now, all the current gets returned to the negative terminal of the battery in like in a 12-volt vehicle system. So what we actually do here, the power comes in through the battery cable, gets switched through the MOSFETs and out these wires, then it goes to the load. And then the grounds don't come back to this. So the grounds of the load can be terminated anywhere in the vehicle. And all the Jeeps, they all have grounding studs
Yep.
everywhere.
Yep.
So let's say you had a backup light in the back of your vehicle. You only have to run power to it. And you can ground it to the frame. And so
Right,
that
so
can...
one wire goes
Exactly.
back there.
Yeah.
And is the wire loom long enough to get to the back of a Jeep?
No, not this. We give you 2 feet of wire,
And then you add
usually you
onto it.
splice in.
Okay.
We actually add heat shrinkable butt splices,
Okay.
and then you can also solder in, use heat shrink tubing, whatever. But these heat shrinkable butt splices are actually pretty good. They work pretty well.
They're watertight, non-corrosive.
And the other cable that goes from the
bad
unit
boy.
under the hood over to your windshield mount or wherever, that one's 10 feet?
Yeah,
You've got
10 and a half.
10 and a half. You've got
Yeah.
11 if you count the pigtail
Okay.
on the back. So it's
that's
11
plenty long.
feet
Yeah.
theoretically. And this is the one cable we do get questions. You know, people will say, "Well, I don't need to go that far. Maybe it's a smaller vehicle, a shorter vehicle." This needs to stay as is. If you need something different, we will make.
Yeah.
We do have some custom links available, but
And-
he's going to speak to the technology because it's just one that it's not like a regular copper.
So this is actually RS-485 cable specific for that protocol. And people probably wonder why it's so thick, because there's other systems out there. Use a little tiny cable, but I mean, you need to have things be rugged in a Jeep or really any vehicle.
Yeah.
So we actually use some heavy duty cable that's not just all flimsy.
Yeah, and if you don't need that long, you just coil it up and stick it somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like I said,
and
flawless,
we do sell
have
custom
other
links.
Sure.
And then also the-
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, waterproof. The power module and the switch panel are rated at IP67. So that means you can submerge it down to 1 meter for, I think it's like half an hour is the spec.
I think it's
Or no,
30. I think it's 30 minutes.
Yeah,
but
something
I
like
don't want
that.
to be wrong on that, but I believe.
And
it's
regular spray, salt water or whatever. We do not recommend pressure washing into the back of this connector, but overall both of them are submergible.
And if you're washing your Jeep
Yeah,
with the hose,
it doesn't-
Yeah,
it doesn't
so,
hurt it at all.
So these are the same connectors, same manufacturer that you have in any current new automobile.
Yeah, you'll see the same type connector in a modern car
under the
today.
hood of a
And
Jeep.
so
Yeah.
what we're saying is this. We say that, we want it mounted at least an angle like this, so that theoretically water, anything is going to run off. Because manufacturer of the connectors doesn't really want to see water sitting up on top. It's just, and if you look under the hood of your vehicle, they're not going to be laying with their belly to the sky, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But we've seen, we have people that mount them under the seat and they go mudding, and they don't have any trouble in Louisiana with, with having this submerged in mud and cruising along. So we just say, don't come at it with heavy pressure, like a pressure washer after, like during your Jeep cleanup, but you don't have to mount it high, out of the way. It doesn't have to be dry. If this is in an open air Jeep, it's fine that this is getting wet. So we don't have, our technology is not susceptible to damage within like basically the elements, and we just don't want to see, heavy pressure
And
washers.
also a lot of people ask, well, how come you don't have a terminal block? It makes it so easy. But if you look at any modern car today, there's no more terminal blocks.
Right.
In the old days, probably up to the 80s, I know I had like a 74 Jeep, and it had these terminal blocks on the firewall, and wires would corrode. And then if you think about it, on a terminal block, there's 4 chances of a bad connection. You have 2 crimps and 2 screws that screw down. So you're adding 4 failure points. So that's why we believe in just everything is using sealed connectors. And if there is a splice, either heat shrinkable butt splices because it seals it with glue, or solder and heat shrink. So
one other thing that I think is really critical to impress upon people, once the boards, the printed circuit boards are populated, which is done about at a facility about a half an hour from ours.
In
We do
Tustin.
everything, in Tustin, California, if any of you are out here on the West Coast, everything else is done in-house. We program, we pot, we make harnesses, we make battery cables, we put all the connectors on.
we
put
machine
all the-
these
yeah.
enclosures in-house. These are solid aluminum.
These are, yeah,
Same with
that's
the
gorgeous.
switch panel.
So, by the way, just because I just showed its backside, the Bluetooth transmitter is here. And that actually brings kind of another point. Because it's sitting behind a window like this, it actually has a greater range because there's no metal behind that. So we say that a couple of the ways to be able to preserve the greatest amount of distance that your Bluetooth would reach. So let's say you're sitting at the campfire. Somebody needs to go back to the Jeep and get a sweatshirt or a beer or whatever.
Most
You
likely
can-
it's a beer.
Yeah, right? Well, yeah. For a family audience, we're going for a sweatshirt, right? You can actually never leave your chair and from your phone turn on the lights or unlock, whatever you need to do with your Jeep. You can do it from your phone. Somebody can saunter over, and assuming our current Bluetooth range is, it really just depends on where it's mounted in the Jeep, honestly. But we
That
can
setup
get a
actually there gives you pretty
maximum.
much almost your best bang.
Because it's also right up
for your
against the
buck.
glass. You know what I mean? There's
Right,
not a lot.
right.
So
Because it goes
I'm gonna-
both directions. Like
We've talked about this, and right this minute, we're looking at a real solid 50 to 75 feet for operation. Not just, but operation. You can be sitting that far away from your Jeep. However, it comes on good authority that very shortly, that distance is about to become significantly greater. So we are making
You say double or?
I didn't
wait,
say
maybe you
that. I didn't say that. You
Okay.
might have said that.
All right.
I don't know exactly what that range is going to be because testing has not yet been completed, but I will tell you that we are making some hardware adjustments and substitutions going forward, and it's going to significantly increase that Bluetooth range.
Nice.
So if that's something that, I know many people who use touch panel only, and the phone doesn't even come into it, but I also
I mean,
know
that's
racers.
me. I don't even.
No,
You
I
did
get
it that one time, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also know that there are racers who put this on a tablet, on an iPad, right there.
Wow.
Just like you've got a Tesla with a big screen in the middle.
Sure.
They put that tablet on there. They mount a tablet, and then they have the Switch Pros unit being run from there, and they can control things.
Huh.
So, whether it's your thing or not, that is something that's, coming very, very soon. right?
Okay. The other thing, did we talk about if it gets shorted, the protection that it has, and how it shuts off quickly?
Yeah, I think I
Reiterate
talk-
it just because.
Yeah, so basically there's 3 scenarios. One's a dead short. So let's say the wire just shorts out against the frame. So in a situation like that, the circuit shuts off in 10 microseconds, which is actually like 1,000 times faster than a fuse.
Wow.
Because the MOSFETs, they can sense that current, but it shuts it off right away. So it doesn't hurt anything. You can do it 1,000,000 times, it doesn't hurt it. The second scenario would be, let's say you have a 20 amp light, and for some reason something's going wrong inside, and it's drawing 30 amps. So in that instance, when it's only a little bit more current, it gives it a half a second, and then it'll shut it off. And then the other scenario is inrush, like a motor or something when it starts up. Usually the 35 amp MOSFETs, we give it up to about 200 amps of inrush, but that's only like for 100 or 200 milliseconds, so like a tenth of a second or so. So everything is like fully protected.
And when it does have an issue, it'll flash or something,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, the indicator will, like you turn on the switch, and then all of a sudden this will flash 3 times
And then
and shut off, and that tells you there was a overcurrent.
Yeah, better check something
situation.
out.
Well, and exactly, Tony, that makes a very interesting point too. It's essentially diagnosing for you where the problem is,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if you're seeing this and you know that this icon happens to read radio, not that there would be, but just for instance, if this flashes 3 times and shuts off, not only do I now know that my radio is not getting power, I know that circuit 1 is this brown wire, because there also is a pin out underneath here, so you don't have to have a pin, the
Diagram,
installation
yeah.
guide.
Yeah.
No, there's a pin out here that'll
Right.
tell you exactly which circuit is having the problem, and you can trace that wire,
And you can-
and instantly be able to figure out if like, let's say the insulation is nicked and it's actually, it's touching something. Wrap some tape, electrical tape around it and
Yeah.
move on.
Keep going.
So,
And they
but
can
it
be
will-
adjusted in 5 amp increments.
Oh yeah,
that's
you can
right.
you can step those down. So if you have rock lights, 2 amps, 3 amps on a circuit, you can actually go into the app and say that the max that should draw would be 5 amps,
5
or in increments of 5, and you can actually step that all the way down so that it would recognize that there's a problem.
That doesn't allow you to reserve more power for other stuff, though, right? It's just
No,
making
you
it
can't.
more
No.
You
sensitive.
can't. No,
Yeah,
you
it's just
can't-
telling,
you
it's
can't
like
loan it to
just setting the
another circuit.
fuse.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
All
did
right.
we have any questions that maybe
There's lots of questions, but your boy back home is actually doing a very good
Oh,
job
good,
answering them.
am I allowed
busy.
to give a shout out?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I want to thank
Behind the
two-
scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes. We have 2 members of our staff that are actually standing by live at our facility, firing off as many answers as they can so that if we aren't taking time, we don't want to keep these guys here all night answering questions, but we do have Nathan and Nicole standing by actually answering questions. So kudos to them for pulling a late nighter so that they can actually make sure that y'all get your questions answered. I will also, I give a huge shout out to the people that actually handle our tech support calls. We take a lot of pride in being available to people. You know, you call in, and we are a Monday through Friday operation, but you call in and you can actually talk to somebody at our facility on site and get an answer. And if we don't know the answer, I promise you, we take a note and we hunt this man down, or the gentleman who's actually answering the questions this evening. He knows a whole lot of stuff too. So,
And all of that is because you are American made.
Oh, American made.
That's
right.
And a family-run
Yes.
organization. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, born and bred here.
There's tons of questions that have all basically been answered by
Okay.
Oh, that we've been
your
talking
guys.
about?
And your boy Nick is asking the most intricate questions,
Oh, yeah?
of course, but they're being answered.
Okay, good.
But I want to
love
bring
that.
up one more really cool thing about this 12, real quick. So if you have a vehicle like a buggy or something, a Jeep buggy, everything is open, and you're concerned about, you know, maybe somebody stealing the vehicle or whatever, this system here actually, in the app, you can program it to basically turn off the switch panel, and then it requires a 4-pin code to re-enable it. So if you have ignition and start on the system, you can program, like after you shut the vehicle off, after 5 minutes or an hour or whatever, it disables everything, and then it takes a 4-digit pin
That's cool.
to
I'm
reactivate.
I'm going
the
to lean into that and say it's a code that you choose. You
Yeah,
set.
yeah.
We don't disable it. It's just it's like an ATM pin code. You know, this
Yeah.
is your bank account, and after a certain amount of time, you can lock it out. And then with your 4-digit pin, you can actually key it in. What is it? Maybe go to 6 digits or something? I don't remember.
No, 4.
Oh, so 4 only. Okay.
But
You
there's
can actually
100.
key it,
I don't even remember how many
you can
different
key it in, and then it wakes the panel back
possibilities.
up. Let's give one more shout out to our new kid on the block.
Oh, yeah.
For any of you who are either building a vehicle ground up, don't have standard instruments, you know, turn signal specific, a couple of years ago, we actually created the Command Touch CT4. It's this little gem right here. It's the most important thing about it is that we have a patent on the technology that it is, if you're going to use it as a turn signal kit, it is guided by a GPS unit. So when you buy the full universal kit, what happens is you can have 4 outputs. 2 of these, for the purpose of this conversation, would be left and right turn signals. If you pull up and you turn signal, it's not a timer. It's not going to time out if you're sitting at a signal waiting for it to turn or cross traffic to clear. It will actually mark the direction of your vehicle. And then as you complete a proprietary degree turn, we have actually consulted with DOT to have, we've figured out what that needs to constitute an actual turn of minimal. You turn, and you get 3 more flashes after the system has marked your completed turn so that you can actually get into the appropriate lane you're going to drive in, and then it shuts off automatically.
Auto canceling
Yes.
with GPS positioning.
Yep.
Actually, we just measure the
So
heading.
much more concise
Just like a
than light.
marine application, there's headings, right? 0 to 360, so that's what we
Nice.
use to monitor.
Okay, so show the little lever, right? Obviously, you have left and right.
Yeah.
Right.
So left, right, and this mounts basically on this. There's a bracket we supply, and it mounts on the steering column. So basically here, yeah, left, right, and then if you want to, then there's 2 more outputs, pull and push, and you can make it a horn if you want, or high beam, or you can
Siren.
turn lights on, or if you wanted to, you can. If you didn't want to use it as a turn signal kit, you can turn lockers on and off and do all kinds of stuff. Because it's kind of nice. I mean, I like when I drive, I like to have your high beam right there, right? And this is the same thing.
Yeah, same
You can
thing.
just reach for it and
That is really cool.
there's automotive MOSFETs inside here also, and each one is rated at 10 amps. So you can easily turn on lockers directly from this. And also for lights, you can also do strobes, flashes. I think, I don't remember if we can do dimming. Yeah, I think dimming also. So it has a lot of the same functions that the switch panel has.
And then you put on the little legends, right?
Yeah, and then these little squares here, they're not switches. That's actually where you put like a arrow for left turn or right turn.
They're just
and then
positions to indicate,
whatever else.
you know, what
just so you know what the four
Yeah, if
functions.
the light's flashing, that's what it's doing, right?
yeah,
And this
yeah,
is all
right.
solid aluminum. We machine all this
Yeah, it's really nice.
in-house.
Yeah.
And
And it
this
just has
comes
a
in-
harness that comes out the back.
It
And one
comes
thing I
out-
didn't tell you earlier,
Yeah.
it actually has an audible click that comes out
Oh,
of
yeah.
this little
Oh, it
hole.
does.
Tick, 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 tick,
Okay.
tick, tick, tick.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And
that
that's
comes in-
great for a Jeep, a buggy, a side-by-side, like anybody
Exactly.
that needs or wants those kind of.
And then these lights will actually flash also indicating when the turn signal is on.
Perfect. Perfect.
For left and right. So,
So
Okay.
we should probably tell your viewers what things cost.
Yes.
Because that's always, it drives me crazy when I want to go shopping and I don't know what I'm going to spend. The SP 9100 regular retail is $659. The Racer 4 is $12. Regular retail is $1,078. The Command Touch, the Granddaddy package, which is the universal kit with the GPS, is $550. There
but
are
that's with a
some-
vehicle kit.
Right.
which
There are some
There's different
lesser-
levels.
Not on the switch
Depending on-
panels, only on the command
Yeah,
touch.
on the command touch.
So this has a few different levels depending on how intricate you need to be. Again, American made, family run company. And I'm going to give one more shameless plug for any of you who would be headed to the Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion latter August. Come see us. We are making the pilgrimage from California. This will be our first year at that show. And we really hope to get to meet and shake hands with many of you who don't make it to the West Coast shows, which is usually kind of what we're confined to. So, anything else?
Very good. Any other questions right now,
I-
Jim?
Your boys are answering all
Yeah.
the questions.
Okay, I'm going to come back over here and let's see if I
All
can
right.
think of anything else. I know you showed the hold it and it'll flash, right? Those
Yeah.
are all settings.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done the phone myself as far as the Bluetooth goes, but it's pretty easy to.
Yeah, you want me to demonstrate?
Sure.
I can, for instance, here I can show you. So first of all, there's the quick actions. So you would just select this switch, and then it came on. So I can strobe it, or I can flash it. I don't know if the camera can see that.
I think. It
Or
can.
we can go 50% or 10%. All, like nothing has to be programmed. It just goes straight from there.
That's nice. And then
Yeah.
it'll save it like that. You just.
No, once you exit
Well-
the quick actions, it goes back to default.
If
Okay.
Yeah.
if you were creating permanent behaviors,
Yeah.
absolutely. What you would do is you would get like in the more involved screens, you would hit next and you would page through and it would move you to the next set of things you can choose from: on, off, or momentary, battery or ignition. Do you want a strobe or do you want a bursting strobe or do you want so those actions that when you're initially setting it up, it might take you 10 minutes. It's 8, so you've got to go in, and mostly that's deciding, okay, yes, I want this to do this and this to do that. That saves. And we also talked about earlier, should you put your vehicle in storage and shut the battery off?
That's right, I
all
did
of
want
that,
to talk about that.
It
Yeah, yeah.
will not lose its programming. The programming is here because much of what we are catering to are recreational vehicles, boats, side-by-sides, Jeeps, things that don't get used, 12 months a year.
Yep.
That would be a real drag if you had to reprogram every time and try to remember how you had a program. So it's stored in there when the vehicle goes into storage. And should you have your battery die, same thing. It's not losing its programming. It will come
Yeah.
right back once you restore the battery
That's
connection.
great. That's good because I have changed the battery on my motorcycle or my
Of course.
truck, and,
Yeah.
Of course.
and it just went completely
Oh, geez.
haywire as soon as I put the new battery in.
You lose your radio station.
Yeah.
All your favorites.
Yeah,
for your
presets
life.
are
What
gone.
just
You're,
happened?
yeah, you're like, come on.
Yeah,
With today's
yeah, yeah.
technology,
Right. No, this
So,
doesn't
yeah.
experience that same.
Here's
kind of
also
hiccup.
the color. Well, first, here's like backlighting adjustability
gotcha.
for the backlighting and the indicators.
Oh, huh.
And then here right now it's set at green. You can do, there's 4 presets. So we got red, so change to red, blue, white, or green, or, where's the color picker? Oh,
Is that the color picker?
I screwed it up.
You're getting fancy here.
Where'd the color picker go? Oh, I think,
Did you just hold that or something?
Yeah, no, I don't remember. Anyway, there's a color picker
And
where
you
you
do
can choose
yellow or
any
whatever.
color.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
purple.
like it's
Yeah.
the entire color wheel.
Wow.
Like of every PMS color under the sun, and all you have to do is go like, hey, I really think this will match my outfit today, and then you can set it. So, yeah.
And I mean, the options
these are some of
are
the
long.
screens.
You can, like here, you would enable output dimming. You can set a password in the app so your friends can play jokes
in
on
there.
you.
Oh, do
mess
that.
around.
We
Alright.
plead with you to please set a password.
There's
Because
been a couple, like Nick joked about, like, can I just hack into Jeff's Bluetooth and turn all of his stuff off?
well, if Jeff doesn't have a password on his, then yes, he can.
Yeah.
That is a thing. It's not technically a hack, but it's out there. He can see it.
So you could use this to remote start your vehicle,
yeah, oh yeah.
right?
Yeah, theoretically, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it depends. A lot of the newer vehicles, they need to see the key, the chip in the key.
fob.
I'm
But an
talking
old
about the
one-
old-
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm
it's
talking
like-
about
Or a buggy.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So, we encourage your questions, we encourage your phone calls. You can shop on our website, you can come see us at a show. We do 2 local shows. We do the Sound Sports Super Show in September. We do the Off-Road Expo in the first weekend in
Costa
October.
Mesa.
Those are both at the Orange County Fairgrounds. And then we also do the Overland Expo now, which is mid-March, also at the Costa Mesa Fairgrounds in Orange County. But yeah, we're venturing out this year. So we will see you in Tennessee.
That's great. All
Thank
right,
you so much for having
we got
us.
about 10 minutes
Oh,
left.
we do? Should we
Okay.
still chat?
So, well, do we have more questions, Jamie, or have you seen something come up that we should address?
Their guys are doing very well. And they have
Okay.
a great sense of
Took
humor.
my job. Oh, they have a good sense of
Did
humor.
they make
too.
fun of my haircut?
I was trying to think if we talked about something else. Did you mention it going to sleep? Like that?
Yeah, no.
Tell when it goes to sleep.
So also, if after, well, one of the functions in the app, in the programming, is sleep mode. So the default is like after 8 hours, it basically goes to sleep. It turns off the Bluetooth capability because that uses a little bit of current. And the draw goes to 3 milliamps, which is very small. And then to wake it up, you just press any button or turn the ignition on, and that'll bring it back to life.
Oh, I want
And
to talk about
there's
that.
also
I got something I'm really
slave.
excited about.
Okay, you go ahead.
When you said ignition, it dawned on me. I'm talking to a crowd of people where you have things on your vehicle that you might want to power on the switch panel, but you certainly don't want them turning off when you shut your ignition off.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking like your refrigerator or your compressor. So
Or CB radio.
or your
Yeah.
radio. That's right. I don't know why. Because I don't talk on the radio.
Or also air compressor for ARB lockers. It's real annoying when you shut your vehicle off and you get back in and then the air compressor doesn't come back on. You got to push the button again to.
Right, same
Or-
with the,
or
same with the
locker.
lockers.
Or
Yes,
the locker.
that was one of my pet peeves. Is if I turn it back on,
Yeah.
I want the lockers back
So
on.
the memory function. Sorry.
We're stealing your thunder. Sorry.
No, it's that I'm old and I lose my train of thought. And so I was like, oh, where was I going? What I was going to say is in the app, some of the things that you can select specifically regarding this refrigerator topic is that from the factory, all of our switch panels come programmed. The switches are looking for ignition signal. However, you can go in very simply. It's one of the first options is do you want to look for ignition signal or battery signal? That's not talking about a global, that's talking per circuit. So you would naturally then want to select your comms, your refrigerator, your lockers. You would want to tell those circuits that they're only looking for battery, meaning that this cable is connected to its
They
two
work.
endpoints.
Switches work all the time, regardless
Yeah,
of.
that way your
ignition.
refrigerator isn't going to shut off when you turn the ignition off and walk away from it. Your fridge will stay on, and so that was. I
Okay.
just was so afraid I was going to.
So then, is there anything that I shouldn't put on here? It's fine for motors, fuel pumps, fans, that kind of stuff. Is there anything that you should avoid? Right? Obviously, lights, are fine on this thing.
Well, one thing might be, so air compressors, ARB, twin air, a lot of those, they have built-in relays. So it almost doesn't matter because the inrush on those, we did a lot of testing and it's almost like 60, 70 amps. So that would definitely trip, but they all have built-in relays. So on those, you want to connect the power of the compressor directly to the battery, and then there's a trigger wires, and you just send 12 volts to that one.
Gotcha.
It only draws
That's what they want you to do anyway.
50
if you read their
milliamps
instructions, they're
or
very
something.
clear about
Right,
that.
because that's how their little switch system
yeah.
works. Yeah.
Right.
You definitely can't power a winch,
No winches.
because that's hundreds of amps.
Yes.
But you can send the control signals, the 12-volt control signals that actuate the solenoids inside the winch.
Right.
So that's possible.
Which is just like the button on the
Exactly.
thing,
On the
right?
remote, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
And then one thing, I wanted to mention real quick, a lot of, with the JT out, a lot of people have campers and stuff. So you can actually wire in a slave panel. So you can have, let's say you had this in your cab with this power module. You can get another switch panel and then run it to the back and have control in the
But
back.
it's a special switch panel. Like we have to make
Yeah, it's
that
it's a slave
because it has
panel.
to be taught that it's part of this relationship. It's
Yeah,
pretty. It has to know, right? It has to know those things.
It needs to have a
common
marriage
would be-
license.
Yeah, right. Common would be also like van conversion. If you have this on the dash, but you want one in the galley, or RV, we see a lot of that kind of thing. Where or a chase truck, where you want one in the service body and
Sure.
one up in the cab.
Yeah,
So-
where you can turn on the
Right,
lights in
you-
the back.
and then
Driver,
you go out to the
co-driver.
back.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
know?
that's really common.
Yeah.
Where and most typically they put the master on the co-driver's side, and that way all of the essentials are being handled, but the driver can still operate some.
Yeah.
So we
And-
make those custom. And that's about
And
a
on that
2-week lead
subject,
time.
you can actually, if you have the 12 switch, you can get a slave 8 switch,
Oh,
tie it into this, and then you basically have 17 switches. So you got 12 here, and you have 17 outputs. So you still have 5 extra ones left that you can put on this switch panel, or you can basically just copy any of them that are on here. So everything is configurable.
so when you do that, does it come with another wire harness that's
Yeah,
like
if you
split?
buy the slave system, it comes with another panel and another harness and a Y connector.
so that
Gotcha.
they spin
And you can
off.
also add another 12 to here. You can have 2 12s, or actually up to 3 panels.
But that doesn't
on-
mean
on each one.
24. That means it's duplicity. So you know what I
Gotcha.
mean? It's
Yeah.
a repeat.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
But I mean, those are all questions
So-
that
I
we're
mean,
happy
obviously,
to
this
But-
isn't, you're not going to get all those switches with one unit. You got to buy more units if you want more function,
Yeah, you
right?
would, for outputs,
Yeah.
you need, the power module
The actual-
determines the
Well,
output.
I mean, you got to think about it. Like, it's got limited real estate. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
go to infinity and beyond.
Right.
So, we put the right number of MOSFETs in there, and then, yeah.
It really is compact.
3 by 6.
Before, when you were showing it, you like held it in front of your
Oh,
black
sorry.
shirt, but it is thin. What is that, half an inch thick? I mean, that's not very thick.
5/8,
and then-
5/8.
yeah.
And
So-
3 by 6.
And it's
2.5.
solid, because that's aluminum.
Yeah,
Right.
and it doesn't get hot.
So-
If you run this at 125 amps, it might get a little warm to the touch, but that's about it. So it can be mounted anywhere.
Anywhere.
Oh, and what's the temperature rating on it? Just because.
Minus 40 to 125 Celsius.
Oh, wow.
The automotive.
Celsius.
We use
Yeah.
only, in this, we use only automotive approved components.
That's
Because there is
great.
a difference. Industrial only goes up to 80 C, or some are 105 C, but automotive is 125.
Huh.
So
And then, Jane, what question or comment did you have?
Somebody asked.
We got about 4 minutes left. The questions always come in right at the
yeah,
last
people
second.
start thinking.
So,
Oh, someone marked Trail Team 7 just asked to see the JK 8 killer node.
Yeah.
Oh,
one more
okay.
time.
Which is it?
Yeah.
Which camera is that?
That one, yeah.
Yeah. No specific question, just wanted to see.
Just wanted to see it again.
Yeah.
So this is one that we actually buy from another manufacturer, and then we machine it out so that it's the exact fit.
It's
for
a
the-
For your
rugged
product.
rig.
Yes. it
Yeah,
is.
it's a
I
rugged
wasn't
ridge
sure if I
panel.
was supposed to say that, so I did.
And we basically router out the opening, so for it to fit in.
All right.
Does the panel just come blank, or it's fitted for rockers and you route
It's
that out?
scored, but not all the way through.
Gotcha.
And so
See, that's the back.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And so then we buy them in bulk and machine them. So. Anything
So
else?
yeah, these. So for the most part, they look like they're flush mount, right? But
This
then
is really all that's sinking in is this chamfered.
that's
right
it.
there.
Okay.
So there's different options. You can either cut a hole exactly
That
There's
size.
a little step there.
Yeah.
And then it'll
So that it sits
sit
down
flush,
really flush.
Or you can even just mount it
Then it'll stick up
flush
just
like
a little
this,
bit. Yeah.
and it'll stick out a little.
Yeah,
bit
which
more,
isn't a big deal.
but not much.
Yeah.
so.
And the kit comes with the hardware. If you see these threaded, pre-drilled holes, they're threaded studs that come in here. So you cut this hole. Theoretically, there's a template in the installation guide. You cut the hole, you put the threaded studs in, you push it in, and then there are two U-shaped brackets with feet that then push behind and then with nylon locking nuts hold it in place. Because we don't want any strain on this, on this
Yeah.
small harness. Those
Yeah.
are smaller wires. You don't want it dangling. But he's got some
It's these
hardware
guys
here.
right
Oh,
here.
there you go,
know,
yeah.
the stainless steel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's actually for the
That's
12.
for the bigger one. But
Okay.
you get the point.
But yeah, that's the little mount. So you just screw that down and it keeps it tight against the panel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that holds it in place.
Okay. Yeah, because I was trying to think if you could just flush mount that and not have to drill a hole at all.
Oh, all the time. People do it all
Yeah.
the time. The only thing, and actually, if you look, it's machined so that if you
Oh, that
wanted
can
to-
even,
so-
like,
yeah,
sit in-
it will lay.
oh, that's
it will
nice.
lay on it so that you
Okay.
could invariably mount it flush mount as long as
Okay.
you know what I mean. You just have
Yeah.
to lay the wires down into there.
That's cool. Okay, what else we got, Jamie? Yeah, we're doing good. All right, then we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much again
you're welcome.
for coming. It was good to see you guys.
Pleasure,
Yep,
always.
of course.
We'll see you in
And
Tennessee.
Tennessee, I'll be out there.
Okay.
Yep. So that's not far away.
No, I know. We're really excited. So we hope to see some of you there. Let us
Yeah.
know that you saw us on Tech Talk.
All right, we'll be back next week. I'm not sure with what, but tune in next Wednesday, and I'm sure we'll have something exciting for you to see. All right, thanks again, everybody. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.